Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Introduction to Aprimo Digital Asset Management. Before we begin today's presentation, I just want to quickly cover a few housekeeping items. First, this presentation is being recorded, and you will receive a copy of the recording as soon as it becomes available, and it should be sent to you over the next 24 hours. Secondly, if you have any questions, please submit them throughout the presentation as they come to mind, and we will address all of your questions after the webinar. We are now ready to begin. I'm happy to pass things over to Brent Richards, VP of Smart Content Solutions at Aprimo. Brent?
Hi, everyone. This is Brent Richards. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Thank you for the introduction, Maria. Now, the team made it clear that I needed to put a face to this presentation, and I learned long ago that the best way for me to look good is to surround me with beautiful people. So I decided to insert a picture of my family here. They're the reasons why I do the things that I do. So let's go ahead and jump in. Now, for those of you that are familiar with the history of Aprimo, and most of you have been with Aprimo for some time, know that they've got a great history dating back to 1998 when they basically created the marketing resource management space. And over that time, they won some great awards and accolades, and they were known as the industry leader and innovator across the MRM space. They were acquired by Teradata and had some good years with Teradata, but ultimately Teradata decided that they needed to go in a different direction. But these assets were incredibly valuable, and Marlin Equity came along and acquired those assets and relaunched Aprimo. And in that process, they also acquired revenue. There were several former Aprimo personnel who joined the team and basically started over again. And this startup organization with a startup mentality, with an impressive existing customer base, has since acquired Atom Software. And together we have made an amazing marketing operations platform. The purpose of today's discussion is to talk in length about what this Atom acquisition means. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, when we look at our global digitally connected society, we recognize that it is a continuous 24/7 open market. And organizations need to engage customers with readily consumable, relevant, and compelling content that is available across a myriad of devices, channels, and platforms. And it's imperative for organizations that envision growth to invest in multi-channel touchpoints. After all, only by providing the best customer experience at the right moment can organizations hope to continue interacting with their customers. Now, content is everywhere, and whether it's generated by an organization, its partners, or its customers, it's everywhere. However, it takes smart content for organizations to differentiate from the competition. Smart content is readily available in the preferred format and through the channel of choice for each customer segment. And by giving individuals the content they want, when and how they want it, conversion increase and customers are more likely to be truly satisfied. Smart content reduces the cost of customer acquisition while improving the overall effectiveness of customer experience initiatives. Brands are everywhere. Brand equality is vital because customers interact with brands in all ways and at all times. Purchase decisions are increasingly driven by brand recognition, loyalty, and coherence to that strategy. Enterprise-wide brand compliance ensures consistency regardless of the customer touchpoint, geography, language, or culture. Managing that brand complexity will become more challenging as new business models and distribution channels are introduced, making it more difficult for brands to sustain impact at comparable cost levels. Now, we also know products. Products are everywhere. Brands regularly launch new products. Many of you probably do this each and every day and extend existing collections of products. Product life cycles were never shorter, and consumers never had more options to choose from. As educated buyers, they demand more relevant, engaging product information when research and evaluating products. Providing the best product experience and offering the right product information has become critical. Now, finally, experience. with customer being everywhere, content everywhere, product everywhere, brands everywhere, we all know that that provides an experience. And we love to share experiences. It's our human nature. Organizations that empower customers to communicate on their brand experiences have the best chance of turning those customers into brand advocates. Only organizations that provide superior customer experiences will ultimately increase customer retention and profitability. As a result, the need for diversified content keeps increasing, not only to create improved target experiences, but also to translate smart segmentation strategies into higher conversion rates. Now, with all of that being said, it's clear that this creates challenges for any global organization in speed to market, in visibility, in the reuse and even simple control of assets, the centralization of assets, and working with agencies across the world to create content, to reuse, repurpose that content. And that problem is only compounded by the fact that when you look at it, there is significant challenges with the amount of channels that you are now required to provide content for. 4 or 5 years ago, it was 4 or 5 channels that you were producing content for. Now the average customer has over 20 points, touch points, distribution channels, where they need to get content to, whether that's magazines, catalogs, tablet, packaging, e-commerce, so on and so forth. You're also operating with a limited or fixed resource capacity. Even though the content needs have grown significantly with that channel complexity, fact is you're operating typically with the same size team, same resources, same budget. Those constraints lead to the marketing operational gap. And that's what we're about helping you solve, because ultimately that then leads to a customer experience gap, which of course goes against all of the other principles that we just established around brands, customer experience, product, and content. So what we like to do is help organizations bring all of the content, the people, data, the budget together, manage that customer experience-driven marketing. Now, what we're going to do today is focus exclusively on this content piece, because this is the core reason why Aprimo decided to acquire Atom Software, so that we can complete this journey from ideation to execution through the workflow and operational process of managing budget, people, data. We also have the ability now to manage content at an enterprise level. So we can go from concept to content to customer in this manner. So Aprimo Digital Asset Management is the answer to a complex problem in a changing environment. And the Aprimo Cloud is always on. It's what allows us to do this with great agility. The always-on Microsoft Azure environment, which powers our SaaS version, makes it highly secure, flexible, and scalable. As your business needs grow, we are pre-configured to grow with you. We have global reach, including follow the sun support and localization around languages and currency help. Your organization is always supported on a global scale, and Aprimo provides pre-built connectors to key third-party tools based upon over 14 years of experience in integrating with enterprise systems. Your investment is future-proof. Your reach is never-ending. Finally, the nature of Aprimo is to be an extremely configurable and highly collaborative platform. Users not only can access the information and capabilities they need to perform their jobs, rights and access can be controlled at a user level, by role in the business, by functional area of responsibility, and so on. What they see, how they use it, and what they're allowed to do is completely controlled uniquely to fit your business structure. Now, when you look at the key capabilities of Aprimo DAM, and it's not in this slide deck here, but I want to reinforce it. These key capabilities are built upon principles that Forrester views as winning or market-leading capabilities. So we're in the upper right-hand quadrant of the Forrester wave. So when I speak to what we do here, it's based upon a market leadership position, single version of the truth. All your content, all formats, all in one place. Easy to search, filter, discover, secure and role-based user access. In addition to that, the customer touchpoint enrichment. So regroup, repurpose, recharge content, making sure that it's localized, that it's multilingual, that you got the contextualization around these assets, and that it's provided in the channel, in the format needed to be able to distribute that content. We also enhance the productivity for enterprise content. So we're supporting teams and work groups. So it'll be tightly integrated into the marketing productivity suite. The key there is making sure that we enable that seamless creation of content, review and approval, the storage of that content with all its associated metadata, and of course maintaining the rights for that content, knowing exactly how that content can and should be used at any time and of course in any market. And then of course forging 360-degree product experiences. Intuitive product enrichment, and this is really a key differentiator, and it's great to work with organizations who manage product content, because we work so well with ERP systems, master data management systems, ingredient systems, or even product information management systems, doing the full enrichment of product content within the digital asset management system, making it ready for any of your key distribution channels. And of course, content distribution and touchpoint delivery. The portal, making this a portal, an easy to use, easy to experience, easy to navigate, search and find content, connecting to all of the other channels in which to distribute content, doing this all based upon an open, RESTful API, and then of course providing the right reporting metrics around content usage, usage statistics, content effectiveness, and those key capabilities. Now, for the next few slides, what I'm going to do is just walk you through a high-level demonstration of what the Aprimo DAM platform looks like. What's the user experience like? And I'm going to start from the perspective of a consumer user. Now, in most organizations, your consumer users make up the bulk of users who are accessing content. So this can be 80 to 90% of the users in any given organization. And what they want is an intuitive, smart, intelligent, easy-to-use experience that is a responsive design that can work on desktop, on iPad, or iPhone, or any other device. And that's what you're looking at here. So what I've done is I've logged in, and I'm coming in and saying that this has been constructed to help me easily navigate based upon my role, my permissions, my profile, what I'm working on today. So I've got the Suono summer campaign. I've got products that are available to me. Down below I can discover other contents that's available to me. Now, of course, I can easily search, and by simply typing in headphone and doing a partial match on that, I can see all of the content variations that show up easily based upon that. Down below here, you'll see I've got other spaces that have been set up. Spaces are purposely built and organized, so any new content that matches the criteria of that space automatically is then made available to me, available again based upon my role, my security, my permissions. Now let's go ahead and click into one of those spaces. So now within that space, I'm now looking at the content. There's a total of 99 items that are currently available within this view. I've got a great view here showing the different variation of all of the assets. Some of these are images, some might be videos, some might be PDF. And then beyond that, I can see and filter this based upon recently added, recently modified, titles, A to Z, Z to A. Gives me different options for how I want to work with and interact with the data. In addition to that, I can switch this from a mosaic view to a card view. So some might be more comfortable working with all of the rich metadata that supports the content. So now I can see what are the different file types. I can see a description or title of that. In addition to that, I enable more capabilities around what's forbidden, what might be restricted, what assets might be recently expiring. So it's a great way for me as an end user to quickly see the content and the description and details around that. Now, in addition to that, I can filter this. So on the left-hand side, I have the ability to filter content by type, by brand, and this is up to each individual organization to decide what are the filters that make sense based upon the content that they have available to them. And these filters can change. They can change based upon the content that's in the space. It can change based upon the user and what they have access to. So it really makes it personalized when I'm in as an end user, navigating through, trying to find the content for the specific purpose that I'm in here for. So as I narrow this down, I'm just now looking at the 14 items that are specific to product. Now let's take a look here at the Spectrum White. Now, it just so happens that that's an asset that I'm looking for. Now I want to share it. So I just click the share button. There I take a copy of that and immediately send that on. Or if I wanted to download this, you'll see that we can configure this to be download for multiple formats. So download for web, print, presentation within a PowerPoint, or download the original file. There's a lot of different options that can be configured to make it easier for your end users to quickly come in and get access to the content that they need. Now, in addition to that, I can select multiple files, and you'll see here what I've done is I've added them to my basket. And within the basket, I now have 3 files that I might want to download. And you'll see that the options around that might be downloading of the original file, or download them all for web or print or for presentation. Again, that's all done through configuration. Now let's drill into the Spectrum White product. Within this asset, now I can see all of the metadata associated with it. I can see the tags that have automatically been associated with that. I can see how this has been classified in the system. It's under the luxury brand. It can be used in the following channels. And then, of course, product specifications, usage rights, many other details to help guide and inform. A true DAM system is not just a repository. It's really more of a knowledge management system. For your end users, this would help tell them about that asset, give them context around the history of it, or really help them understand how and where and in what way it should be used. So it's great for sales team, it's great for marketing team, it's great for your distributors or dealers in being able to inform, coach, guide them on the assets themselves. So additional details you can see down here, including looking at the properties of it, what we've inherited upon ingest of the file type, or the privileges. Who can actually see this content? Who is it visible and available to? And other details around modification. Now let's just click back to the home page here. And just to help you again see that this is a quick, easy way to get in and get out and enjoy that experience. Now again, this is just one view. There are other views that are available based upon role. So say, for example, if you're an agency user, you can give them a specific experience, or a full user, a power user, somebody that needs to come in and manage metadata and taxonomy and make sure that the assets are tagged properly or whatever it might be. So just wanted to set the stage for that, give you that context, help you, get more familiar with what are the core capabilities around the Aprimo DAM via a light demonstration. We're, of course, happy to arrange for a more specific demonstration after getting a better understanding of your specific use cases and key requirements around digital asset management. Now, what I wanted to do now is just focus in on a couple of use cases, because it's always good to see how the system is being used and deployed by key organizations. So in this first example here, we've got a life sciences organization who are looking to find a solution for asset transparency. They had 12 major global markets with 7 different languages, and they really wanted to reuse assets and find the ability to save costs through the ability to repurpose content throughout the organization. And of course, IPR management was key. And so what they deployed was Aprimo DAM as well as marketing productivity. And within 30 months, they had a 20% savings on total agency spend. Of course, that resulted in tens of millions of dollars, as well as increase that ability to, do content reuse through many different projects across email, web, and mobile. and of course across multiple languages. And they've been able to accelerate their time to market for campaigns by 30 days. So a great success story, and shows you the power of being able to use marketing productivity plus digital asset management in collaboration and in harmony with one another. Now, the next one that we'll focus in on is that of a financial services and investment company. And they really lacked that centralized repository. Their assets were spread all over the place in multiple marketing silos, in servers and desktops. They, of course, looked at using the DAO that was contained within marketing productivity as a means of being able to store content, but really didn't work for extending it as a true enterprise DAM. They had a lot of different systems that ended up storing content, all of which who claimed to have light DAM capabilities. They struggled with lengthy review and approval processes and making sure that content was not being used, especially content that had certain restrictions on it. And then, of course, costly storage and retrieval practices. So they, too, implemented Aprimo DAM with the Marketing Productivity Suite. With those workflows, they automate the review and approval process. They greatly increased asset findability, and through that, we're able to reuse and repurpose assets. It helped to control access to approved assets with the rights management. So only people that had the rights, the permissions to see, view, or download that content were given the rights to do so. Certainly accelerated their time to market and lowered their asset creation costs in the process. Now, we understand that when talking about digital asset management, that all clients are on a different journey. And some are starting with the most basic elements, starting with a system like the DAO, and then maturing over time, and as their use cases and requirements increase, as they look for a system that can meet the global scalability standards, work with multiple or hundreds or thousands of users inside and outside of the organization, then the maturity increases. So they then may look for an enterprise DAM. Now, an enterprise DAM works well within the context of marketing productivity, so bringing teams together for a common goal. And that's one of the key reasons why Aprimo added the enterprise DAM from Atom to the portfolio, is to be able to provide those capabilities. And as an added bonus, we also now have the ability to manage product content, as I mentioned before. And ultimately, the goal is to lead up to the Smart Content Hub. Smart Content Hub is a way of describing an organization that is storing and manage all of this rich media, that can control the asset creation, the review and approval process, leading up to that point where they're then able to distribute smart content to all of the various systems. And as I mentioned before, we're fortunate to work with some of the world's leading brands who've been using this platform for many years. And many of them have integrated with multiple upstream and downstream systems to be able to do not only one version of the truth, but then the enrichment of that content to be able to distribute to all of the different endpoints. Now, if you look at the capabilities that exist today, for those of you that are using the DAO, we thought it would be helpful for you to see and understand what are some of the core differences between what's available in a DAO. And I would also insert and replace DAO with any other marketing technology system, whether it's a PIM or it's an e-commerce system or a web content management system. The one thing that makes them all similar is that they all hold content. And by virtue of that, they all have some very light storage capabilities around those assets. But that is not the same. There is no equivalent to being an enterprise digital asset management system. So as organizations move up that maturity curve, they then reach that point where they then need to move from a DAO into an enterprise DAM. So with the Aprimo DAM, or the acronym ATOM, we are able to extend the capability We can integrate then with any of the other systems that need content to then distribute, whether it's an email system or an e-commerce system or a web content or print or any of the others. So this just goes to show you some of the key differences and enhanced capabilities available as a result of Aprimo Digital Asset Management. So some of the key gaps that are covered include the product content management, localization and translation, full asset enterprise search. We can get into further discussion around capabilities that were enabled there, full classification, taxonomy, curation, spaces, collections, different ways to organize, control rights, permissions, security, and access to all of this content. And of course, providing an experience for your end users to be able to go in, find, consume, download, and share content easily. Now, the last few slides that I'll cover off on quickly here really just touch on our ability to help you get quick time to value. Historically, enterprise digital asset management solutions really took a lot of time. They were big, they were heavy, they were painful. That is no longer the case. Our move to fast means that we can provide faster time to value, lower activation costs, and a scalable base platform upon which you can grow indefinitely. You'll never need to replace the Aprimo DAM. You can't outgrow it, and that's really one of the key features, one of the key strengths. So the journey that we typically take clients on is going through onboarding, classification, of course providing the access and sharing, and doing the process alignment to the Aprimo Marketing Productivity Suite as a Aprimo Marketing Operations Hub. That's where we get into the asset-centric workflows, asset-centric review and approval, annotations, and whatnot. So it's really a great partnership, a phenomenal marriage of multiple best-of-breed technologies coming together into one marketing operations platform, and we're thrilled to be a part of that journey now with Aprimo. The last slide that I'll leave you with here is just some of the advantages of the Aprimo brand. I've spoke about these throughout the course of this webinar. I hope that this has been helpful, a good introduction into what the Aprimo DAM is and what we have to offer. We'll, of course, make some of this material available to you as a follow-up. And, of course, you know, we couldn't end the webinar without showing you that, you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And there's an ability to feel like you are in control and that you are providing better experiences to your end users, to your customers and constituents by creating an environment where you're centralizing your content, you're aligning around those journeys, you're getting full control of your brand identity and protection, you're reusing and repurposing assets, and that, of course, makes an organization feel good. So with that being said, I just want to thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thrilled that you were able to join us. Maria, I'll turn it over to you to close us down.
Great. Thank you so much, Brent. And before we close, I just wanted to thank everyone for joining us. And I do apologize. I know at the beginning of the presentation we had a bit of audio trouble, but we'll make sure that's all cleared up before we send you a final version of the recording tomorrow. I'd like to remind you all that if you have any questions, please contact your customer service manager. They'll be happy to answer any questions you have about Aprimo DAM. And I strongly urge all of you to join us at one of our Aprimo DAM Sync events that are coming up next month in Europe and the Netherlands on the 12th and 13th of September, or in the U.S. in Chicago, September 19th to 20th. This is an exclusive event for Aprimo customers and partners that really gives you all of the latest trends, best practices, and innovations, not only in DAM, but also, you know, supporting and complementary topics like customer experience management, brand engagement, marketing operations, and so on. I strongly urge all of you to register, and we look forward to seeing you at those events. And on that note, I will close out today's webinar, and thank you everyone so much for joining us. Take care.